Hello everybody and welcome back to another Night Gaming. This is Gangster J, your host at your service. Today we're going to be reading Lost Reflection by Anonymous. Of course, if you want to show anybody some love, it's going to be the person who written this story, since after all, he is the owner, since he is the creator of the story, and I just want to read it for my own little podcast while I go into work. Link will be in the description, but without further ado, let's get into the story. It's been happening for about a month now. Whenever I stand in front of a reflective surface, I see it behind me briefly before it disappears from view. I have no idea what it is, but it always manages to evade me whenever I look for it. When I first noticed it, I didn't pay much attention, figuring that it was probably just a trick of the light. But then I began seeing it more frequently, and every time I turn around, it's gone. After several days and nights of glimpsing, turning, and wondering, I began to get a little more than freaked out. Now I know it's no trick of the light of my imagination. Something is in there every reflective surface I look into. I once even feared going to the bathroom or looking out a window lest I see the bright eyes and slinking form peering at me again from his dark corner. Even when I close the bathroom door or move something in between myself and a window, I can still feel it there, watching me. No matter how much I try to avoid or ignore it, I always know it is there, seemingly waiting in the shadows for the perfect moment to strike. I don't dare tell anyone. I'm not going to risk making a fool of myself. For the first couple of weeks, I lived like this, with constant paranoia and an almost irrational fear of my reflection. But eventually, I realized that whatever it was, if it wants to harm me, it would have already done so. After a few days of relaying this reassuring fact in my head, each time I stepped up to the bathroom mirror, I began to treat the sightings as though it is as mundane as a pigeon. Now I'm at the point where I sometimes talk to it. Hey there, buddy. Have a good night's sleep? Or, hey, I'm going out for a smoothie. I'm going out for a smoothie. Do you want one? Of course, it never responds, although every once in a while it stays around for a few seconds longer than usual before hiding again. It's been a strange few weeks or so. I know the being is there, but I don't care at all. It is a part of my everyday routine. I come home from work late and begin readying up for bed. I step into the bathroom, not even bothering to glance into the mirror as I get my toothbrush and toothpaste out. I am just raising the brush to my mouth when I look up in the mirror and freeze. There it is. It isn't hiding behind the door and the edges of the shadows as it usually does. No, it's right there, standing in the doorway. This is the first time I ever had a full view of it, and if I had known what it truly looked like, I would have never been so casual about it before. It's tall, gaunt, and humanoid in shape, with a head like a snake's. Coarse brown fur covers its body, broken by scaly spines along its arms, legs, and neck. Its eyes burn out a piercing yellow, with sleek wolf-like ears placed on the side of its head. Worst of all is its mouth. A skeletal, fanged grin that stretches across its hideous face. Going on my first instinct, I whirl around, expecting its vicious jaws to be the last thing I see. But, to my surprise, there is nothing there. I even scramble to the door to look around, but my house is as normal and quiet as usual. It couldn't have hidden that quickly. Could it? I turn back around and give a short scream as I see it now standing directly behind me, its long back claws raised above my shoulders. I spin around, punching out and hitting nothing but air, my heart pounding, my mind in panic. I look back at the mirror again, not knowing what to expect. Then it happens. As if in a dream, I stand, transfixed as the monster latches its claws onto my reflection's neck, yanking it back. I reach up and feel my own neck, but there's nothing. No pain, no grip. It's almost as if I am watching a horror movie in my mirror. My reflection kicks and flails about frantically, its face a mask of pure fear and agony as the claws dig deeper into the shoulders, and the beast begins pulling out of the bathroom door. In a sudden burst of uncanny protectiveness from my own reflection, I whirl around and slam the bathroom door shut, hoping that it will halt the creature. But when I turn back, the door in the mirror is still open, and my reflection is now desperately clinging to the doorframe as blood spills down its body. I can never describe the sheer horror of seeing yourself, even if it's just a reflection of yourself being brutally attacked and not being able to do anything about it. Then, for the first time since the attack had begun, My reflection looks up at me, right into my eyes with this terror-stricken gaze, and mouths one word, "Help!" before going limp and being dragged off into the blackness beyond the doorframe. I stand there for what seems like hours, my whole body quaking, and tears flowing freely down my face. My mind is totally numb as I gaze into the empty mirror. I have no reflection. Well, wow, that was a really, really good, but in short creepypasta. Short and sweet, just how I like it. It reminds me of one of those old creepypastas, you know, that would just be old and get straight to the point, like immediately to the point. No long build-up and all this other stuff. It's just, I want to say refreshing to see, but it does bring back some sort of nostalgia. It's kind of one of those creepypastas where I don't really have much to say about it, but the way it delivers is perfect. The shortness of it is basically, the concept of this specifically is, something terrifying happens to you, and yeah, I would be terrified as fuck if, that thing happened to me. Even though if it is purely fantastical, I mean, just seeing your reflection get murdered by, like, this creature in the mirror and just having no comprehension of what that creature truly is, that really is petrifying. Overall, I'm just glad that this isn't as long as, like, a no-sleep creepypasta, and I hate those a lot sometimes that are, like, 1 hour and then just have one scare or something and just spend so much time just being so slow, just building up, and I just keep, spacing out on my job because I just really don't care about all this and I want to see the scare quickly. Keep in mind, when you're writing a very scary story, always try to, from the very start, have something that catches you, but always have build on to it. What leads up to the scare or the horror. Don't just be like, Paul and me and Jane and we loved each other and we did this and we did that and we were talking to this guy in the gas station. We had this entire conversation and it wasn't even about the horror. And then, like, while I don't care, at the last 5 minutes, all of a sudden have a bunch of crazy shit going on. But really, that's all I have to say. Like I said, link is in description. Show this person love, show this person support, as Gangster J is out.